Whether you're searching for humor or any particular message from pregnancy movies, you can sure count on some entertainment headed your way. Here, we have a list of interesting movies about pregnancy that you may want to watch. Movies about pregnancies aren't just about a mother's journey with her unborn child. These movies depict a unique kind of relationship where love, care, shelter, and security are all wrapped up into one. Of course, a few decades ago, Hollywood has portrayed women in such a manner that a teen or an unplanned pregnancy is something to frown upon. The fact that these movies would represent hardship, misery, and any other negative aspect to unplanned or teenage pregnancies can't be denied. However, as people's thinking evolves, so does the depiction of truth. Whether you want to call them chick flicks or movies filled with drama, these movies appeal to certain demographics. And without wasting more time, why don't we get straight to our list and see what we've got lined up for you? 13 amazing movies to watch whether you are alone at home, are expecting some company, or want to spend quality time with friends. Watching these interesting movies about pregnancy is the right thought. Make sure to have enough popcorn to last you. Note, in the following list, we have provided a small synopsis on each of the movies. If you don't wish to find out the spoilers, then avoid reading the "what's it about" parts and head straight toward renting the movie. 4 months, 3 weeks and 2 days. Mr. BB, to the girls, I forgot something important. Don't throw the fetus in the toilet. It'll block it. Whole or in pieces. And don't bury it where the dogs can dig it up. Wrap it up nicely, take a bus, get off at a high rise, go to the 10th floor and throw it down the rubbish chute. Understand? Released, 2007. Cast, Anna Maria Marinka, Vlad Ivanov, and Laura Vasiliou. What's it about? Before I tell you what the movie is about, let me just say that it definitely brings out disturbing thoughts in many who watch the movie. 4 months, 3 weeks and 2 days is a Romanian movie, with English subtitles, set in communist Romania. The backdrop of the film shows us the Nicolae Ceausescu era during 1980s. The main plot of the movie shows 2 female roommates, Odelia Mihartescu and Gabriela Gabita Dragut, who study together in a university. One of the women, Gabita, becomes pregnant and together, they both decide to help Gabita get an abortion. During this time period in Romania, abortion was illegal. Hence, the movie develops around how these 2 women arrange for someone to perform the illegal abortion. Away we go. Bert Farlander, do you promise to let our daughter be fat or skinny or any weight at all? Because we want her to be happy, no matter what. Being obsessed with weight is just too cliché for our daughter. Verona Detescent, yes, I do. Do you promise, when she talks, you'll listen? Like, really listen, especially when she's scared? And that her fights will be your fights? Bert Farlander, I do. And do you promise that if I die some embarrassing and boring death that you're gonna tell our daughter that her father was killed by Russian soldiers in this intense hand-to-hand combat in an attempt to save the lives of 850 Chechnyan orphans? Verona Detescent, I do. Chechnyan orphans. I do. I do. Released, 2009. Cast, John Krasinski, Maya Rudolph, Carmen Ejogo, Catherine O'Hara, Jeff Daniels, Allison Janney, Jim Gaffigan, and Maggie Gyllenhaal. What's it about? Bert Farlander and Verona Detescent are expecting their first child and barely making ends meet at home. In order to raise a happy family, they decide to take a little trip so that they can find a perfect place to raise their baby. Along the way, they stop at different places to visit relatives and old friends. During their journey, they happen to fall into some misadventures and happy moments. In the end, Bert and Verona to find a home for themselves, one which they've been looking for all along. Father of the Bride Part 2. Nina Banks, Maddie, what's going on? Maddie Banks, may I be excused? Nina Banks, no, no sir. You may not be excused. George gets up to leave. Nina Banks, George. George Banks, The guy offered me $10,000 to be out of the house in 10 days. Nina Banks, the guy offered you $10,000 to out of the house in 10 days? John Mackenzie, I hope you took it, George. Maddie Banks, he did. And he threw in Mom's favorite dishes just to close the deal. Nina Banks, George. George Banks, yells an order in Arabic. Released, 1995. Cast, Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, Martin Short, Eugene Levy, Kimberly Williams Paisley, and Eugene Levy. What's it about? This movie is the sequel to the 1991 box office hit, Father of the Bride. In the sequel, George Banks finds out that Annie is pregnant, which in turn freaks him out because he doesn't want to see his daughter transforming into a mother now. Hit by a progressive midlife crisis, George wants to spice things up with his wife, Nina, which ultimately lands her getting pregnant as well. The movie revolves around two pregnancies and how George tries and at times fails in finding the balance between his roles of a soon-to-be father and grandfather. Fools Russian Isabel Fuentes, sighs, "Look, I told you in the beginning. I have no problem raising this child on my own." Walks away. Alex Whitman, "I thought we were a family." Isabel Fuentes, turns around. "You don't understand the concept of a family. To you it's something you put up with on national holidays. Love is a gift, Alex, not an obligation." Turns and walks away. Alex Whitman, "Look, this is the brass ring. I've worked my entire life for this kind of opportunity, and I am not gonna throw it all away just because one night I put a $5 ring on your finger in front of Elvis as a witness." Released, 1997. Cast, Matthew Perry and Salma Hayek. What's it about? They met. Made love. Got pregnant. One-night stands are quite common in Hollywood, and this movie talks about the subject. Alex Whitman and Isabel Fuentes are from two very different cultures, and when Alex finds out Isabel's pregnant, he suggests they get married. What follows afterward is how Alex and Isabel find out that even though they weren't supposed to meet one another, they were destined to fall in love. Home fries Dorian, "I'd like to be the father-to-be." Sally, "You can't be the father and the brother. That's the kind of thing that messes kids up." Released, 1998. Cast, Drew Barrymore, Luke Wilson, Catherine O'Hara, and Jake Busey. What's it about? Sally Jackson works at a fast food joint and falls in love with her colleague, Dorian Montier. Dorian is also secretly in love with her, but hasn't made a move yet. What Sally doesn't know is that Dorian is the stepson of the married man she was having an affair with. Also, thrown in the mix, Dorian, with the help of his brother Angus, accidentally make their stepfather get a heart attack and die. The movie takes unexpected twists and keeps you guessing and hoping that Sally and Dorian unite in the end. Do they? To find out, you have to watch the movie. How to Deal Hallie, maybe it was a false reading. The strips didn't look completely pink. They were just kind of pinkish. Scarlet, 5 Kids, Hallie. Released, 2003. Cast, Mandy Moore, Allison Janney, Trent Ford, and Alexandra Holden. What's it about? Although the main protagonist of the movie, Hallie Martin, isn't the one shown pregnant in the movie, the concept of teen pregnancy is still portrayed. Hallie Martin and Scarlett Smith are best friends and go to the same high school. Scarlett has a summer fling with a high school jock, Michael Sherwood. However, he dies on the soccer field and Scarlett soon finds out she's pregnant. As Hallie is struggling with understanding and accepting love in her life, she helps Scarlett in every which way she can. Does Scarlett get an abortion? Can Hallie trust the concept of true love? Watch the movie to find out. Juno McGuff, "I'm not ready to be a mom." Mac McGuff, "Damn Skippy, you're not. You don't even remember to give Liberty Bell her breathing meds." Juno McGuff, "God, that was one time. And she did not die, if you recall." Released, 2007. Cast, Ellen Page, Michael Cera, Jennifer Garner, Jason Bateman, Allison Janney, J.K. Simmons, and Olivia Thirlby. What's it about? The movie surrounds a 16-year-old high school girl, Juno McGuff. She is pregnant and is contemplating what to do regarding her unborn child. At first, she makes up her mind to get it aborted. However, she changes her mind and decides to give the baby up for adoption. Since the movie revolves around teenage pregnancy, you can be sure to find some kind of a message for the audience. Apart from the huge decision waiting for Juno, you can see how she turns into a smart, responsible person. In the end, what the audience finds out is her unusual decision regarding her unborn baby. Watch Juno for some fun, smiles, and a whole lot of drama. Knocked Up Allison Scott, I'm Pregnant. Ben Stone, Pregnant. With Emotion? Allison Scott, Pregnant with a Baby. Released, 2007. Cast, Seth Rogen, Katherine Heigl, Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann, Jay Baruchel, Jonah Hill, and Jason Segel. What's it about? One drunken night is all that it takes to bring two strangers together, and a whole lot of fun and laughter for us. Ben Stone is carefree, lazy, and smokes weed. Allison Scott is smart, beautiful, and career-oriented. However, after getting drunk one night, Allison finds out she's pregnant and visits Ben so that she can tell him the truth. What happens afterward is something to look forward to. Can Allison and Ben make it? Or will their relationship end before it even got a chance to work out? Watch how these completely wrong for each other couple find a way to make things work. Or not. 9 months Samuel Faulkner, Are You Sure? Rebecca Taylor, I'm 10 days late. Samuel Faulkner, And There's No Way You Could Have Had It and Just Not Noticed. Released, 1995. Cast, Hugh Grant, Julianne Moore, Tom Arnold, Joan Cusack, Jeff Goldblum, and Robin Williams. What's it about? Samuel Faulkner is a child psychologist, and Rebecca Taylor is a ballet teacher. They have been together for a long time now, and one day, Rebecca finds out that she's pregnant. Samuel, on the other hand, is afraid of making a commitment and hence, freaks out that he is going to become a dad. To make matters worse, Rebecca and Samuel meet Marty and Gail, an overbearing couple, along with their daughters. Also, Samuel receives that not great advice from his friend, Sean Fletcher, who is single. Will Samuel have the courage to support Rebecca and take responsibility? Or will he back out and turn his face away? Only one way to find out. Precious Mrs. Lichtenstein, in the principal's office. Hello, Clarice. Are you pregnant? Clarice looks away. Mrs. Lichtenstein, you're 16. You're still in junior high school. And you're pregnant with your second child. Is that correct? No reply. Mrs. Lichtenstein, are you pregnant, again? Mrs. Lichtenstein huffs, exacerbated. Mrs. Lichtenstein, what happened, Clarice? Clarice Precious Jones, I had sex. Mrs. Lichtenstein. Released, 2009. Cast, Gabri Saidib, Monique, Paula Patton, Mariah Carey, Lenny Kravitz, and Sherry Shepherd. What's it about? The movie is an adaptation from the novel Push by Sapphire. The movie focuses on a 16-year-old obese, illiterate high school girl named Precious Jones. Precious is pregnant, for the second time, and that too with her own father's baby. She has difficulty reading, writing, and is constantly teased by her schoolmates. Her mother treats her horribly, making Precious more and more emotionally and physically imprisoned. When you watch the movie, not only do the characters come alive, but the plight Precious is going through is felt. Rosemary's Baby. Roman Castevet, rock him. Rosemary Woodhouse, you're trying to get me to be his mother. Roman Castevet, aren't you his mother? She starts to hum a lullaby. Released, 1968. Cast, Mia Farrow, John Cassavetes, Ruth Gordon, Sidney Blackmer, Maurice Evans, and Ralph Bellamy. What's it about? Well, here's a first. A horror flick, which undoubtedly is one of the must-watch movies. A couple, Guy and Rosemary Woodhouse, move in an apartment that doesn't really have the best reputation in town. And soon, they both find out why. Weird and unnatural things begin to happen in the apartment, like Rosemary has weird dreams and can hear some strange, unfamiliar noises. Later on, she finds out that she's pregnant and suspects her neighbors might be involved in making some plans for her unborn child. The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 1 and 2. Edward Cullen, what is it? Bella Swan, how many days has it been since the wedding? Edward Cullen, 14, why? Will you tell me what's going on? Bella Swan, I'm late. My period, it's late. Phil's tummy, that's impossible. Can this happen? Released, 2011. Cast, Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Taylor Lautner, Ashley Greene, Jackson Rathbone, Peter Facinelli, Elizabeth Reeser, Kellen Lutz, Nikki Reed, and Billy Burke. What's it about? The fourth and final installment of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn. This is a two-part movie in which we witness the marriage of Edward Cullen and Bella Swan. On their honeymoon, however, Bella finds out that she's pregnant with Edward's child. The movie revolves around how the Cullens and the Quileute Wolves try to save Bella from dying, who is protecting her unborn baby. Waitress Dr. Pomatter, so, what seems to be the problem? Jenna, I seem to be pregnant. Dr. Pomatter, congratulations. Jenna, thanks, but I'm not so happy about it like everybody else might be. I'm having the baby and that's that. Released, 2007. Cast, Kerry Russell, Nathan Fillion, and Jeremy Sisto. What's it about? Jenna is a waitress and married to Earl. He is abusive and takes away every single penny Jenna earns. Well, one thing about Jenna is that she makes excellent pies. Creative even. She decides to enter a contest that has a hefty prize money. However, fate had some other plans for her. Apart from being trapped in an unhappy, miserable marriage, Jenna finds out that she's pregnant. She meets a physician, Dr. Pomatter, and begins a secret affair with him. Does Jenna have the courage to leave her husband and be a single mother? Will she begin a steady relationship with Dr. Pomatter? There are other movies about pregnancy, like Junior, She's Having a Baby, Baby Mama, For Keeps, Inside, and Where the Heart Is. If you are fascinated by such movies and want to find some kind of entertainment or wisdom from these movies, do make sure to pick up the DVDs. Whether you love or dislike these movies, truth be told, Hollywood is not going to stop making movies about women, and all the different facets of pregnancy. Be it unplanned, planned, surprise, or teen pregnancy, we sure are going to find more and more movies headed our way.